Since 2003, this is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
The Sports Source is presented by Junk Be Gone, Pipe Wrench, and the Garza Law Firm.
The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning. It's Gator Week. Tennessee, Florida coming up. I think that open tells you how much time we're going to waste on New Mexico State today. Going to be a lot of Florida talk today on the Sports Source. Welcome into the Junk Be Gone studios. We're happy to have you here. Thanks to Bob Hodge for bringing in Steve, his mounted Gator head. You know, he caught this thing in Beaver Creek out in Powell. It's unbelievable. Somebody's going to email me. Bob wanted me to say that. Somebody's going to email me. No, he didn't catch that in Beaver Creek, as far as I know. We will be talking plenty of Tennessee, Florida. We'll be talking a little bit about that New Mexico State game because you accomplished so much. And we're also going to get into why the swamp is such a house of horrors for Tennessee. We've got some interesting stats to throw at you and show you some numbers going back through Aguilar's issues at the moment. Lots to come, so let's just get into it. First segment of our program brought to you by the Garza Law Firm. When people are looking for an attorney, they typically search for experience, great track record, excellent communication skills, good reputation, and a knowledge of the local justice system and its main players. Well, folks, that's Marcos Garza and the crew at the Garza Law Firm. His team is as good as it gets in East Tennessee. He's as good as it gets in East Tennessee. If you have a legal issue you need to get in touch with, the Garza Law Firm, garzalaw.com to learn more. We appreciate them for bringing you the Sports Source. Okay, let's welcome in the panelists, the first wave of panelists. We got four more guys sitting over on the hockey bench waiting to do the lineup change. We got right there Jimmy Himes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
VFL Ollie Lane back with us. Bob Hodge right here. VFL Will Overstreet right there. Okay, and we've also got Tennessee, Florida game picks coming up a little later. We'll show you where we set the line whenever I see Will. We've made a pact years ago that when the Vols are at Gainesville, we take Florida. So we'll see what everybody else does in their game picks today. Do we change? Do we break our pact today? Okay, the Vols paid New Mexico State to come across the country and take a brutal beat down. At 21-3 at the half, I don't know that it was as brutal as many of us thought. You didn't get to accomplish as much as you probably wanted. Starters playing 3 quarters. Will, you could tie this into the New Mexico State game, but big picture question, and maybe this is fair, maybe it's not. Is Tennessee getting better or worse as the season rolls on?
Well, that's a tough one when you're coming off of New Mexico State because you are looking ahead to Florida. You've come off a game that your playoff hopes kind of got dashed. So you're going to look at a team that has a motivation problem probably in this game. So were they playing their very best in this game? Absolutely not. Were they on all cylinders? No. But I do see this. Your offense is struggling more. Your quarterback is throwing a lot more turnovers than he did at the beginning of the year. Seems like some more missteps and things along the way. So I'm going to actually lean yes, that you are getting a little bit worse at this part of the year. I think it doesn't help that you've lost some of your motivation to step up and continue to play. So as we look at that, I think you've gone down a little bit. I don't base it off of just yesterday. I just base it off of, hey, what have you got coming? What do I see? I just think with injuries and other things, you have gotten a little bit worse than you were at this point.
Yeah, I think you look at the Oklahoma game where you turned it over 3 times and you look flat in the second half. You didn't really have any answers in the second half. Your defense is kind of flatlining. And then you throw in yesterday, where granted, it's a sandwich game. There's no reason to be motivated for that thing. Yeah. You had some guys that didn't play. But overall, those 2 games taken together, I don't know how you'd feel very good about this team at the moment.
No, and I agree with Will, probably even a little bit stronger leaning into that because I think your offensive line has gotten worse. Your offensive line, to me, you did not dominate New Mexico State yesterday. And that ought to be a game where if Tennessee had gone out and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to hand the ball off 80 times. Mm-hmm. And you should have been able just to go on down the field doing that. And I also think Joey Aguilar is looking a little bit more like what a lot of people feared he might be since he had never played in the SEC before. So I think if you take those 2 things, yeah, you are getting worse because your defense started out the season not great. And I don't know, you can't tell from the Mexico State if they got better or worse, I don't think. But offensively, yeah, you just look a little more, and I really can't put a word, ragged, maybe just not as fine-tuned.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of that plays into just where they're at in this point of the season, especially for your bigger guys up front. It's harder to recuperate over a season. Yeah, you got the bye weekend. This one almost rolled into like a second bye week for them. You're trying to get stuff done, but at the same time, when you're carrying 315-plus pounds everywhere you go, it's not like you're ever getting off your feet to get healthy.
I've done that before.
Yeah, it's not fun. So, I mean, you got guys that are banged up. The thing that's concerning to me in this game was not if it's going to be a confidence builder rolling into Gainesville and then bringing Vanderbilt in. It was not the confidence building victory that you wanted. You can call it a blowout. It didn't feel like a blowout. There wasn't fireworks that we needed. The things that I wanted to see you run the ball. You didn't run the ball very well. I wanted to see you take care of the football. You had 2 turnovers. And on top of that, you didn't come away from that game clean. You had some injuries as well that took place where you can't afford that at this point in the season.
Yeah, and did you get – and the better – you're right. I had these named. Do you feel better about the quarterback after that? No. They didn't clean up the interception. Do you feel better about running the game? No, I don't. Do you feel better about the offensive line? No. Do you feel better about the defense? No, because they're just they are what they are. Did you get your young quarterback's reps? No.
No, you didn't.
No. Did you get banged up? Yes. Kitzelman, Moy, Lewis, had some other guys take some hits. Jimmy, I thought for paying somebody to come in and get this big fun, this gets us right, it was a complete fail in terms of, well, it wasn't a fail, you didn't lose the game, but it was a D- in terms of what you went into expecting to do. You didn't get to work on the young guys. You didn't get to heal up a little bit against a lesser opponent.
It was better than Georgia State.
True. Better program now than you were against Georgia State.
I think Tennessee's offense has gotten worse and the defense has gotten better. Now, I'm going to go back to the Oklahoma game because I thought the defense played pretty well against Oklahoma. And the defense –
How much of that, though, is Oklahoma?
Well, yeah. And
but you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
So even against defensively, I thought they were better against New Mexico State because – at least they held them to less than 1 yard per carry, which they hadn't done in 17 years. They had another defensive touchdown.
The worst run attack in college football,
that's
number
right.
136.
But ETSU and others still average more. And you had a 6 touchdown on defense. Really good play by Tyree West and then William Wright with the touchdown. So there were some elements of defense. They threw for over 300 yards, but they averaged, 5.9 yards per attempt. So I thought the defense did okay. I thought it played pretty well against Oklahoma. So I think the defense is getting better and the offense is getting worse because the offense really didn't – and Bob hit it to me. I think that's kind of what I thought Joey Aguilar would be when he got here.
Yeah.
He'd exceeded my expectations until
Yes.
But what he did against New Mexico State, they had to put him in the fourth quarter to get us 200 yards passing.
Well, I kept having people all you start out, you're saying 8-4, and I'm worried about Aguilar and his interceptions. And then you're a month into the season, everybody's like, you would change your prediction now? You would change your prediction? It's like, no, let's hold off. Right. And they're looking kind of 8-4, and they're looking like he's going to throw a whole lot of interceptions. Well, he already has. Do you guys agree that offense getting worse? We know the offense getting worse. Defense getting better? You feel it's getting better?
It's hard.
Hard for me to say that after New Mexico.
It's hard for me to say that too because I don't. In New Mexico, just like you argued, the offensive line should have dominated. I didn't see the defensive line getting back and beating blockers one-on-one to get to a quarterback. I still see our pass rush is taking a significant step back from where it was last year, even though we've had some sacks and leads. But if you just look at one-on-one, can I say this guy, mano a mano, is going to consistently beat an offensive tackle or offensive guard for the other team? I don't have that guy right now that I really can count on each and every single time. So as I look at it, I think the defense may have gotten better, but I think the bar was so low at the beginning of where they were playing. I think, you could say they've gotten better. Does that make me feel good about going into Florida or going in against Vanderbilt? I'm not saying I can depend on them to win me a game. Last year's defense, you could depend and say, hey, we get 17 points, we might have this ball game wrapped up. This is still a defense, if I'm going up against SEC, that I say my offense needs 30 to 34 points to have a chance to win. I think they're going to give up 28. So that's my reason that it may have gotten better, but I don't think it's significantly better enough to say we're going to win at that.
Not appreciably better. So they've gone from an F to a D.
Yeah. There you go.
But I do think they're a little bit better, and we'll see against Florida where that goes. I go back to Oklahoma. Oklahoma had 2 touchdown drives, and they were for 52 and 48 yards. Those are their touchdown drives. So they had 351 yards, Oklahoma. And I know Oklahoma doesn't have a great offense. I get that.
What did they have yesterday? 217 against Alabama's defense?
It wasn't very. They got outgained 2-1.
They've won their last 2 games on the road and got 3 turnovers from both the opposing
Yeah.
teams. I mean, that's how Oklahoma's winning.
Yep.
I don't feel like the defense is getting worse. I just think it is what it is my feeling. So I'm not going to – you may be right. They may be getting a little better. It's just hard for me to say it at this point.
Judge it based on New Mexico
exactly,
State.
based on what I've seen.
I'm giving them the touchdown they scored.
There you go. Yeah. Well, they have been a big play defense this year.
They got 3 sacks, but to Will's point, it's not constant pressure. And that's
Right.
what you would like to see.
Yeah, and they've given the offense 6 touchdowns they've scored themselves, and then multiple times they've forced turnovers that have given the offense short fields that they haven't always taken advantage of.
Correct.
Ollie, last thoughts on a game like this. Again, you want to knock out those check marks. It's like, oh, we're paying you to come in here. We got to get depth. We got to get. I thought specifically, if you're going to keep going with the young quarterbacks, and you're not going to be the portal guy, although you had to be this year. But if you're going to be the guy that goes out and gets 5-star quarterbacks, do they do enough to develop those guys? Do they give them enough playing time?
It doesn't seem like it at this point. I mean, obviously, right now in the situation they're in, I would have liked to seen a lot more McIntyre yesterday because I feel like that's where the future is leaning towards at this point in time. Obviously, you still got Faison Brandon in the headlights coming in.
And they keep going to Merklinger, who
exactly.
most people think he's going to transfer out.
Going to leave out. So, I mean, maybe at some point, look, you're getting them reps in practice, but practice reps don't really amount to anything. You don't see what you're actually going to perform like until the lights are on. Yeah. You're in a game-like situation. Even with it being an opponent like New Mexico State, it's still game film that these guys can break down. Now you're kind of taking that away from them. And a guy like George McIntyre, he's a freshman, he needs some of those good reps to help himself grow because now it's going to give him something to watch over the offseason. Right now, all he's really got to watch in the offseason is his practice reps that are structured in a way to somewhat highlight him and make him look good.
We said that the year Joe Milton started. It's like, is there nowhere where you could work Iamaleava into this game? And it's kind of the same way here. Could you? Granted, it's 42-9, but that game was pretty much in hand. You could have gone to McIntyre and Merklinger earlier, but I'll give you 20 seconds to end with because when they finally got to Merklinger and McIntyre, especially McIntyre, you weren't thrilled with the way the experience he got.
I would have liked to have seen him gone in and ran the offense.
Yes.
Not, okay, we're going to hand it off. Now we're going to hand it off. Now we might let you throw. But now we'll hand it off. No, I let him play the game as if it was a game.
They let Merklinger throw more than they let McIntyre throw, I believe, in their short little drives. Okay. By the way, I haven't mentioned it yet, but the kickoff has been set for Tennessee, Florida. I'm sure you've heard this already, but it'll be 7:30 right here on WATE. It's an ABC game next week. So the nation's going to see Tennessee go to Florida. That's as if they can't see CBS they can't see ESPN, but still, it's national broadcast on ABC. Tennessee at Florida, 7:30, so another night game. I love them. Okay, when we come back, Vols Gators. Who has the better talent, the better roster? We'll tackle that. We'll show you some info and discuss that. We'll talk roster. We'll talk motivation a little later. We'll talk about the must-not-dos for Tennessee going to that game. Why is the Swamp such a house of horrors? Lots more to come on Tennessee, Florida. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. Winter is almost here. That means it is here. We had snow the other day. That means any building project you begin is going to need winter weather materials. A.G. Hines Company has been helping East Tennesseans since 1920, so they know a little bit about what materials you need this time of year, and they offer them at great prices. A.G. Hines Company, visit them on Hines Street downtown, just a stone's throw from the World's Fair Park. Or check them out online at aghines.com, or check them out in Blunttville. They got 2 locations, Knoxville and Upper East Tennessee. All right, let's welcome in the next members of the panel right here. We got Josh Ward from 99.1 The Sports Animal. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Joe.
And we got Chuck Cavaleris right here from the Chucky C-Note Casino. He's already got his line doctored up and ready to go. And man, was it a bloodbath in the casino yesterday. The biggest win ever that I can remember for the house.
Why is that a bloodbath, John?
It's a champagne bath for him over there. Okay, let's take a look at the poll question for today. You can give us your thoughts on the Tennessee-Florida game. You see it right there. What's your prediction for Vols at Gators? Tennessee by 8 or more. Tennessee by 1 to 7 points. Florida by 1 to 7 points. That's the current leader. Florida by 8+. A lot of people picking Florida. We'll see how now that we're it tends to be the negative folks, the angry folks, go to my website and play early.
Yeah.
And then we see what the viewers say because you get your smartphone and you point it right at that QR code beneath the Hearthside Bank logo. They're always within reach. So is the QR code right there. So play along with us. Let us know what your thoughts are for Tennessee, Florida. It won't shape Chuck's line, I don't think. You're not going to adjust it based off that.
No.
I won't allow that. So, okay.
The negative folks then go to church.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Tennessee comes in at 7-3, 3-3 in the SEC. Florida 3-7, 2-5 in the SEC. However, Florida was picked to finish 6th in the league. Tennessee was picked 9th by SEC Media Days, at SEC Media Days. Florida had 6 players named to the preseason All-SEC team. Tennessee only had 3, and 2 of those were Jermod McCoy and Boo Carter. And on top of that, 24/7 Sports do the team talent rankings where they look at the roster as it is right now and look at the star ratings. Florida's the number 12 roster in the country. Tennessee, number 16. Jimmy, the record says Tennessee's got the talent. All these other metrics say Florida's got the talent. Who's the more talented team? Who has the roster advantage going to Gainesville this week?
Here's where I wrestle with that. You may have a guy that's a 5-star playing like a 3-star, and a 3-star plays like a 5-star. Who's got more talent? So, I mean, I'd rather have Joey Aguilar than Arch Manning. But who is rated higher? I base it more on watching you perform rather than how many stars you got. And based on that, I would take Tennessee's talent over Florida.
Okay. Jimmy says Tennessee's talent. Josh Ward, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with what Jimmy said and why. Aguilar versus Lagway. Now, they both made mistakes and turned the ball over. They're the top 2 guys in the SEC, along with Taylor Green. But I would take Aguilar's season without question over Lagway. Lagway was the 5-star quarterback. Yeah. Florida has a bunch of injuries. They had a ton of guys out against Ole Miss, some of their most talented players as well, while Tennessee's missing a Ricky Gibson, who is one of the more highly rated guys. So I would go with a combination of Tennessee's roster, which is comparable. If everybody on paper is lined up, Florida gets a slight edge. But with how things have played out, who Florida's missing, the way the season has gone, I would go Tennessee.
You guys agree with that?
You know, I really want to. Because, no, I think the way Jimmy
do
breaks
you
it
really?
down, I think that is the right way to do it. When you've got a guy that comes in, he won highly recruited, and you turn him into a star or he becomes a star, yeah, that does throw those numbers off a little bit. But when I have watched Florida, parts of their game, parts of their team, to me have looked better than Tennessee's. And I think Florida has been drugged down by some underperformers that may be 5 stars. I mean, I watched that game last night with Ole Miss. Okay, I didn't think Lagway could get out of his own way. And so to me, it didn't matter what else you had because that guy just looked awful.
Okay.
So I kind of think Florida does have the talent. I think it's fairly even. And
I told you
12-16.
Okay. I told you last night, I think DJ Lagway is Florida's Joe Milton. He's all the hype, he's got all the tools, but he doesn't know what to do with them. And then I looked up his numbers and I realized that's an insult to Joe Milton because Joe Milton didn't have 11 touchdowns against 13 interceptions, which is what Lagway has on the year. Yeah. Chuck Cavalera's talent, who's got the talent advantage? You'll be setting the line. Who's got the talent advantage?
I would still give the slight edge to Tennessee, mainly because Florida's talent, even if it is better, has not played up to the potential they have. And I think that's the assessment you have to look at. And I think that's what Lewis Reddick said last night during the broadcast. There's no doubt there's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but if they don't play up to what they're capable of doing, how can you give them that edge?
Let me ask you this. We just mentioned we'd all take Aguilar over Lagway. That said, Aguilar's got 4 interceptions in his last 2 games. 2 of those came against New Mexico State, okay? You're on the road at Florida. This offense does not perform as well on the road. We've documented that. The numbers are there. It's not like it falls off a cliff, but it is like a touchdown, at least worse. So for this one game, you still give Tennessee the quarterback advantage over Lagway. You still say that Aguilar will have a better game than Lagway on Saturday, in your opinion?
I would say yes. Lagway, didn't he have 5 interceptions
in one game
against LSU?
Yeah.
He had 3 or 4 in another game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got benched last week against Kentucky.
So he's only really been bad in 2 games.
There you go. And yeah, so his inconsistency, his propensity to throw interceptions, his decision making has been poor. When I've watched him, I would take Aguilar.
Yeah, I would take Aguilar as well. It's not with great confidence because of the recent concerns we've seen with Aguilar, and then you factor in on the road, and the concern probably grows that those mistakes will be there. Those voters early on in the poll, they're probably thinking about that. Oh no, those mistakes are going to carry over onto the road. Lagway at home might be more comfortable, but over the course of the season, Aguilar's still been better. Lagway has not shown great consistency, so I would lean Aguilar.
I have a fear. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I think Lagway has shown great consistency. He's consistently bad.
That's right.
Last night, and I told you what we was watching. Anytime he dropped back to throw, I thought it was just 50-50 of what was going to happen.
I just don't think he doesn't make smart decisions. Is the
Yeah.
other thing. So
Well,
mine's one of that guy.
There's one thing, it seems like he throws a better deep ball. And then on some of the other routes, he doesn't come close. And that's what's the real head scratcher. I mean,
If I were to hedge my bets, I would say this. I've seen Florida quarterbacks not look very good, but then when they play Tennessee, they look like an All-American.
That's where I was going. I have this fear that Lagway's going to have his game of the year Saturday night against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Against that improving defense?
Against that improving, appreciably better defense. When we come back, there's an awfully big question hanging over this game. Who has the motivation on their side? Tennessee doesn't have a playoff bid to play for. Florida doesn't have a bowl game to play for. Who's gonna dress out? Who'll be out there? What's the motivation to either end the streak if you're Tennessee or keep it going if you're Florida? We'll discuss motivation next. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. The segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Winter, nearly here. Holidays, just around the corner. Imagine taking in the beauty of the Smokies in the winter in your very own luxury cabin. Parkside Cabin Rentals has all the options you could possibly want. A solo getaway, a little solitude, a romantic getaway for two, or you want to get together with 20 family members for Christmas and that kind of stuff. Get in touch with Parkside Cabin Rentals this week. All winter long, they're going to have beautiful cabins in the Smokies. Visit them at parksidecabinrentals.com. Okay, I want to welcome in here. Before I welcome them in, let's take a look at the Heupel keys. Hit them all. So why am I so negative? That was a huge win. They did everything they wanted to do. Everything that signals a Josh Heupel win was hit yesterday, including the two biggies that are the most guaranteed. Rush for 3 touchdowns or more in a game, they're 27-0 now under Josh Heupel. Allow 349 or fewer total yards, they're 26-1 with that improving Tennessee defense. Jimmy liked that. Want to welcome in the next panelist. Right over here we have Sterling Hinton. You saw him on your TV. You saw him if you were in the stadium yesterday. Sterling, thanks for being here.
That be it, John P. Yes, sir.
VFL D lineman right over here, Daniel Hood. Thanks for being back with us, Daniel.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, well, let's talk about motivation. The Vols look flat against New Mexico State. That's understandable. I mean, you lose to Oklahoma. It was a disappointing loss. The way you lost, you also lost your playoff chances with that. You have to sit for a week. You've got Florida next week. So this is it's not just a sandwich game. It's a crap sandwich game. So you got nothing to play for. So you didn't look fired up. You had guys that sat yesterday. We'll see how many of those guys play at Gainesville. Florida, on the other hand, well, they've been so bad they got their coach fired. They gave Georgia fits. Then it looked like, okay, they hung it up after the Georgia loss. They go and get trounced by Kentucky, and you think, well, they've quit. And they go and give Ole Miss all they want last night, but now they don't have a bowl game to play for. So it's all over the board. Bob Hodge, who's got the motivation edge in this game?
I'm going to go with Tennessee, and now do you want my list of caveats?
No, I want to know why you say Tennessee first.
Because I think Tennessee still won. I think if you're on the coaching staff, you got to say, man, we got to eventually break one of these streaks of not being able to win in Tuscaloosa, not being able to win in Gainesville. Okay, you didn't do it in Tuscaloosa, now you got Florida. I also think that if you're a Tennessee player, maybe not one of the older guys that's really disappointed, but if you're one of the younger guys, you still have something out there to play for. You've got a postseason.
The portal.
Well, and that starts my list of caveats. Because, okay, Florida, what is their motivation? I mean, you're playing Tennessee, you don't have anything to play for. Unless you're a Florida player that knows you're going to have a new coaching staff next year, So I have to put something on tape to where they're not asking me to go into the portal.
Yeah.
And 2, Florida players want to get paid too.
Yeah.
So if I go out there and just roll around and don't do anything, does maybe LSU, somebody else, not want to give me any money, and I'm kind of trapped? So I think there is sub-motivation.
So all these players may be out there playing to catch the attention of Colorado and Texas Tech. In other words, Daniel, motivation edge.
Yeah, on paper, you got to pick Tennessee. I mean, and everything Bob mentioned, and of course you have Joey chasing the 3,500 yards of Peyton Manning's record. You got 2 receivers, got a chance at 1,000 yards. But, you know, knowing my buddy at Florida, you know, they look at this game the same way that we look at Vanderbilt, and it's just a pride thing. And this is a game that I think Florida's going to come out and be ready for. So I'm actually going to pick Florida on that, just because it's in their building. It's a pride thing. You don't lose to Tennessee.
Okay, this is the most useless question in the history of questions. I'm going to ask Sterling Hinton, who has the motivational edge, Tennessee or Florida.
It's no question it's Tennessee, my friend. I mean, think about it. There's no question about it. We got an opportunity to get a 10-win season. We got an opportunity to play in a quality bowl game, and we don't like Florida. Why we want to go out there and not be motivated to kick their butts? We're trying to beat those guys and have some gator for Thanksgiving. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Josh, who's got the motivational edge? You going to argue with that?
I'm not going to argue with Sterl. I am going to side with him. I do think it's a question, but and I think Florida they'll look motivated, but that's a team that we have seen not look motivated in a game against Kentucky. Tennessee overall has appeared motivated. I know it wasn't the most inspiring effort against New Mexico State, but we haven't seen Tennessee lay down this season.
Or
Tennessee
under Heupel.
Really,
he's got a culture going to where you haven't seen that at any point.
Yeah, and 9-3 is still something they can get to a better bowl game. Florida, as you mentioned, can't go to any kind of bowl game. So there are more things to play for Tennessee than Florida, so I'll side with the Vols.
Sterling and Daniel, let me ask you this. You're my generation, so it's a different question for you. You played on a team that, rumor has it, and it's been touted, that you had players on that team like, I don't want to go to a crappy bowl. Let's just lose and go home.
Yeah.
So I ask you, how much is the bowl game a motivation in this current era? How much is the bowl game?
Well, you're asking me first.
Yeah, I'll ask you. I'll ask you first.
I think in this current era, it's less motivation, and this is why. They're already getting paid. See, we had motivation because we had a lot of money, a little change, a little gold check, a little something in our pocket. We were excited to go see another city. Make new friends on a new team, and win a bowl game. That was the big deal. The national championship wasn't in the playoff form back then. We had to try to win to get some ranking, because we Tennessee. We got a lot of motivation to go to bowl games and wanting to play. I think it's changed now.
Daniel.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed. But when I played, that was like Sterling's talking about. You don't get a lot of money, at least in the era that we played in. That bowl check that you get, and they give it to you in cash, was amazing back then. But now these
they give it in a Chick-fil-A bag?
I think it was a little envelope, if I remember. It could be wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but now for the players, you don't even know who's going to be in the bowl game. It's more of an exhibition. It's not a conference versus conference thing. So I don't think it's as important to players anymore. But
well, I just wonder if it's as fun a bowl trip now. You got to go on a bowl trip with Lane Kiffin, and I know what that was. Yeah,
that was amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah, they gave them money in ones. They gave them in singles for a reason. All right. When we come back, everyone has a list of dues. In fact, next Saturday on the Saturday kickoff, we'll give you our list of dues that Tennessee will have to do to win at Florida. But let's go the other way. What are the must-not-dos for Tennessee? What are the things they have to avoid if they're going to win at Gainesville? We'll discuss that next. Come on back. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Looked outside my back door this week and literally saw a pile, at least 15 ladybugs. It was a bit of a burial mound right on my stoop. Now look, I hate to have to kill little critters like that, but better they die outside than live inside with me. And that is the benefit of the fall invader treatment. Southeast Termite and Pest Control came and took care of my home, and that's why the little guys, they couldn't quite make it inside. You can keep them out of your house too. Visit southeasttermite.com. I've used these guys for years. You'll love them. All right, I want to remind you of the poll graphic. What have we got here? Has it moved? Oops, still Florida by 1-7 looks to be the leader. Although it's close, Tennessee by 1-7. People are not picking the blowouts. It's looking like a close game there, going back and forth. So right now, Tennessee is picked to lose by 1-7. Do you agree with that? Let us know. Click the QR code, play the poll with us. All right. Everyone can compile a list of things that a team must do to win. I do it every Saturday on the Saturday Kickoff Show. Trust me, it's easy. In terms of this show, let's flip it. And you're on that Saturday show. Let's flip it. Let's do it the opposite this time, Ollie. Let's talk about things that the Vols must not do if they are going to win in Gainesville. I'll let you start, and then everybody else can jump in. Things you cannot do if you want to win this game.
Yeah, number one, we got to break this trend of the turnover margin. We have lost the turnover margin against Oklahoma, close to losing it, and I think we might have lost it against New Mexico State. Obviously, it didn't matter in that one. But the picks got to stop. We're hurting ourselves. I mean, you let Oklahoma beat you because you gave them short fields to score 2 touchdowns on. We cannot have those mistakes, especially when you go into Gainesville. Everything gets dialed up to 10. Your mistakes will get highlighted on a big stage there. You cannot let that happen. I don't know. It needs to, first off, you got to start the running game because that's going to help alleviate some of that pressure on the passing game. But it's really going to fall a lot on this offensive line. They're banged up. How good can they get it strapped up, ready to protect Joey? Because that's when you start seeing the faults and the cracks in him, is when he gets that pressure and can't get a comfortable throw off. That's when you see them go off the wayside.
And speaking, I knew we hadn't talked about that. You didn't know that question was coming to you. But take a look at this graphic. I was prepared for it because I had a feeling we'd be talking about turnovers. I think we have a graphic. There's the graphic. Interceptions under Heupel. And some of us got negative emails called negative because over the offseason we said, this guy throws a lot of picks. He's thrown 14 at Appy State, and everyone said, yeah, they were always behind. It's not his fault. Okay. And we said, yeah, but he threw 10 the year before. Man, that won't happen here. He's got 10, and there's 2 games to go. And you can see team totals under Heupel, 3 picks, 5 picks, 7 picks. You're at 10, and in terms of from the starter, all from Aguilar. I'm not saying he's had a great year, and if not for him, you wouldn't be sitting there with only 3 losses this year. So I'm not trying to bag the guy, but if there is a downside, it is him protecting the football, and he has to do a better job of it. These last 2 weeks, you got to clean that up. I agree with Ollie. That's high on the list. What else has Tennessee got to avoid if they're going to win at the Swamp, gentlemen?
You can't let Florida outrush you. I mean, at this point, if you look at the Texas game, Texas rushed for 52 yards, Florida rushed for 160 yards. What did Ole Miss and Kentucky do? Kentucky rushed for 200 plus, Ole Miss rushed for 200 plus. They outweighed him. I think both these teams are so similar in their secondaries that if you look at our secondaries, they go, hey, if those guys are on islands, we're going to find openings. Florida, we can do that to Florida's. Florida can do that to our group. If you're able to rush the ball, it just makes everybody pull people out of the box and then, put people in the box to stop the run. So then those guys are on islands. I think whoever in this game, if Tennessee allows Florida to outrush them, they're going to lose this game, no doubt.
Daniel?
Yeah, and to stay on the offensive side, I think we got to not change out our offensive line like we have been doing in SEC play, and you got to find a way to stop sacks. Every time Joey's getting pressure, you just showed the interceptions. Yeah. Seems like he's throwing more interceptions every time there's pressure. You got to keep him clean to get the ball to the receivers.
Sterling?
I think it's a dual point and 1 point. You've got to be unpredictable and productive on first down. First down is critical down there because you got to stay ahead of the stakes the entire time. I don't know what they do down there before a game in the Swamp. My head's a little bit crazy. And we got to keep them out of the game, and production on first down will help that. Unpredictable and high production on first down.
Good one. I will go with one that has gone it's slowed down a little bit. We talked about this on the Saturday kickoff yesterday, in case you're not watching that. It's 11 a.m. every Saturday on WATE, but thanks to the ratings, I can tell that you are watching that, and I thank you for it. But we talked about the fact that this is such a front-running offense, meaning they're back. We talked in the offseason, what has happened to that first quarter avalanche that Tennessee got on in 21 and 22? You're back to it this year. You're averaging about 14 points in the first quarter of games. But over the last few games, that number has narrowed. You were in the first 4 games of the year, you averaged 20 points in the first quarter. So over the last 6, you're averaging 10 in the first quarter. So mine must not do. You must not allow Florida to be tied or close to you coming out of that first quarter. Build your lead. For those of you who are old like me and have seen the Bill Murray movie Meatballs, there's a scene where they tell the kid the big race at the end. You got to have a lead on this kid because at the end it's a straightaway and he's a sprinter. So you got to have this big lead or else you're going to lose. That's the Tennessee offense. You got to build that avalanche in the first or second, in the first quarter. Come out of that quarter with a lead. If you don't, I don't like the chances.
Yeah. And I would
Go
say,
ahead. Do you have something to add to that?
I thought it was a good point because we had to have the avalanche of points in the first quarter. And the unfortunate reality what happened, and which is a good illustration of your point, John P., is the Oklahoma game. We're going in, you're ready to go 14-0. Then, unfortunately, a miscue happens, and they get 7 and it's tie score. That hurt.
There are 3 teams that have outscored Tennessee over the final 3 quarters this year. Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma. Loss, loss, loss. You better come out of that first quarter with a lead.
We're coming.
Did you have one more?
yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, look, you're in a good position if you do build up a lead. This Florida team will roll over. They have nothing to play for. They don't want to be out there. You can disillusion them by putting points on the board.
That is an interesting, now that's a spin on the motivation thing. That's a good question. If one of these teams gets up on the other one, who's going to be the quickest to say, I'm out? And maybe it is Florida without their bowl, but that's an interesting question. Okay, when we come back, 3 up, 3 down. Who are the best and worst players on the field yesterday in that New Mexico State game? Then we're going to cover the entire SEC. We got 9 different ... questions for you. We've got the VFLs talking about why the swamp is so tough. We've got will they or won't they, and we've got the Cavaliers line and our game predictions. All to come. Stick around on the Sports Wars. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Christmas is almost here, and what better gift for the person you love most in life but a new boat, even if the person you love most in life is yourself. Whether for someone else or yourself, there's no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. Folks, they've got the selection, they've got the prices. Get down to Highway 411 North in Madisonville for this holiday season. madmarine.com. Let's reveal the poll results, see what the final verdict is. Let's do that. I jumped ahead on you, our director. Oh, it swung at the last minute. The fans have it. Sterling went over there and clicked a bunch in the last commercial break. Tennessee is the winner. I'm trying to look what was second on that list is the Florida by 1-7, but Tennessee by 1-7. If you look overall, though, it looks like there's more people total picking Florida, but the one win is Tennessee. Okay, very good. And now it's time for 3 up, 3 down.
Sunshine Sterling. Willie Rain Cloud. It's time for 3 up, 3 down. This is the Sports Source.
Okay, we got Team Sunshine over here. We got Team Rain Cloud over here. We got the Vultures. We've got the Doves. Let's start with the Doves. 3 best players on the field for Tennessee yesterday, Sterling and Chuck. And Sterling.
I tell you what, one player really stood out to me. Tennessee's been missing a lot this year is Davian Hobbs in the middle of that defensive front. I mean, he'd had like 4 solo tackles all season, limited because of injuries, missing games. He had 6 yesterday against New Mexico State. Had 3 in a row at one time. As you see him tapping, said, I'm ready to come out.
So two pass breakups, too.
Yeah.
Batted 2 down.
Yeah.
But the guy I'm very impressed with, true freshman, Ty Redmond. They've been looking for him, they've been finding him, but he still stepped up to the challenge every game. His number's called, he's still there. Last year this time, this true freshman was playing high school. He's playing SEC football right now and had an awesome game with an interception, credible open field tackles. He's a little more relaxed out there. Ty Redmond, congratulations to you, my friend.
Yeah, and he was not a 5-star guy who was expected to come in and play. This is a guy that you brought in, you thought you'd develop him. He got thrown to the Wolves in a position where the other team easily sits there and goes, oh, let's pick on him every game, all game, and everybody on TV and in the stands sees it. If you're a left guard, you know, if you give up a sack, you look bad, but how many times do you blow a block and a run and everybody's screaming? You miss a receiver who runs right by you, and everybody sees it. Yep. So good for him. I'm sure that there were a lot of people that were happy to see him. It was a nice play, too.
Nice play, and he's an incredible person, man. He's a great student athlete. I'm happy for him. He's working hard. He's going to be doing bigger things.
Weren't you there when he was born?
Me and his mother were friends, and I know his father, so I've known him since he was a young guy. His older brother played at the highest level. He's got a lot of DNA, and I'm looking forward to see a bright
You
future
look
for
like
that man.
sunshine.
So what do we got?
Hey, speaking of interception, I'm going to put William Wright out there. A former walk-on, 6th season in the program. What was it? Tyree West bats the ball up in the air. It's that dream moment, man. It's right in your hands. And wasn't it like 35 yards just going to the end zone? Yeah, that's a feel-good sunshine moment.
And so much for that. Now, that's right. There went our feel-good sunshine moment. And now to start the funeral music.
Yeah.
Who are the 3 downs yesterday?
The 3 downs. I mean, I think we have to start with the guy that used to be on the sunshine every week for the first couple weeks of the season. But now he's on the streak of being on our side of the boat. Joey Aguilar, you continue to look at it. He's throwing a lot of turnovers, 2 turnovers against New Mexico State. I mean, that's where you just go, hey, man, this is not a good trend to continue. We understand some of that in SEC play. When you're doing that against New Mexico State, it's starting to look like a bad problem, right?
Yeah, if you've got somebody making a play for an Alabama or an Oklahoma, that's one thing. If you're going up against a Brent Venables who does something different you haven't seen, okay, that's one thing. I don't know what New Mexico State, you shouldn't be throwing picks against them.
No.
Okay, who's number 2 on the down list?
Well, number 2 is going to be, and I'm sure I'm going to get a letter from the Sports Source HR department because it's supposed to be a person.
Watch out.
The uniform.
Well, go with whoever created that.
I mean, I don't know who it was that created it. I don't know what he had in his glass when he was drawing that thing up. Hey, here's an idea for a uniform, Tennessee. An orange jersey, white pants with an orange stripe, and a white helmet with
2 orange stripes.
with a orange tee on the side of it, and stick with that. If there is smoke coming from the campus today, I hope they're taking them out and burning.
The smoky grays. Not your favorite. Sterling, you like that one.
Man, I thought those uniforms were slick yesterday, baby.
I thought it was. I thought that was the ugliest of what they've gone with so far.
I like it.
So I think their third player is Mike Matthews. I mean, he had a touchdown catch that he should have had, throws it, he continues to drop. I mean, for a guy that came in with all the hype, I mean, he's definitely a good player, but he's definitely not your third best wide. I mean, he's your third best wide receiver. He's definitely not your second and competing for your first best wide receiver. So I think it's a little just underperformance of where can this guy be and what is actually being produced. We talked about that with Florida. They have a lot of talent, 5 stars and all this stuff, but you're just not seeing it as a guy that you would expect to see at this point in the season.
He looks this year like Chris Brazzell looked last year, which is, wow, look at this catch he made. That's pretty good. And then, how'd he drop that?
Yeah.
So maybe his second year playing next year in this offense, assuming he's back and doesn't leave in the portal or something, maybe he makes that second year jump.
Yeah.
But Staley has taken the lead over him in terms of the new guys.
Staley looks like your star right now, and it's not even close in my mind.
All right, when we come back, we will cover some of the biggest topics in the Southeastern Conference, including, I don't know if you've heard anything about this, there were some Josh Heupel rumors this week, LSU. That's next. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Chris Smith Insurance. How would you like an insurance agent who's been in your shoes? A man who didn't get the help he necessarily wanted from his insurance company? So he opened his own agency where he can fight for his clients, offer both independent plans and farmers insurance plans. That's my guy, Chris Smith Insurance. That's who I use. csmithagency.com. Visit that website today. Give Chris a call. You're going to like dealing with him. Give him a shout. You're going to find out what I found out. Good guy. Chris Smith Insurance. Okay, back with Bob, Josh, Chuck, Jimmy for a media segment here. This is our newest game that we've been playing for 3 or 4 weeks. It's called ... I'll throw out a topic. You guys finish the sentence after the ... Got to be a nice big bold statement. And it doesn't have to be a hot take, but it can't be milquetoast either. Okay, here we go. Josh Ward, I'll start with you. It's all riding on you. Show them how it's done.
Okay.
Texas A&M ...
Texas A&M has the will to win, just like championship programs that we've seen in past seasons. And a couple years ago, Texas A&M had none of that. With Jimbo Fisher, they had a bunch of NIL players, a bunch of guys that were paid to come in, but they didn't have the backbone of a program that you have to have. Mike Elko and the staff, Tommy Moffitt's gotten credit. He did it at LSU. I think he's helped instill that in the players at Texas A&M. It was incredible to have that kind of comeback.
Elko, one of those guys who, if your school hires him, you're like, really, this is the best we can do?
Yeah.
Duke. Works pretty good. Okay. Chuck,
Yes, sir.
we'll go to the other side of that. Shane Beamer, ...
Shane Beamer said he wanted to puke after the Gamecocks blew a 30-3 halftime lead yesterday. Just imagine how the Gamecocks fans feel.
Jimmy, Oklahoma, ...
Oklahoma is a team that is very resourceful. They do not have a high-quality offense, but they have got a tremendous defense, and they're opportunistic. They take advantage of the mistakes of opponents, and they now have learned how to win. A little bit like what Josh was saying about A&M. They have learned how to win.
They got 17 points off Alabama turnovers yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, they get off Tennessee 13? So
Yes.
30 points in the last 2 weeks, but with an offense that needs it. And they're
Yeah.
taking advantage and they're cashing in.
They got outgained almost 2-1 by Alabama in yards.
Bob Hodge, Boo Carter, ...
Boo Carter is going to be highly sought after in the transfer portal here in just a few weeks. He's underperformed at Tennessee, but I think everybody's going to just look at what he's done, and I think he's leaving, and I don't think he will be short of places to go.
Okay, that's interesting. He, of course, did not play yesterday, and Josh Heupel said after the game, you got to live up to the standards and do everything right to be on the field. Basically, what he was saying at the start of the season to get Boo Carter back on the team. Okay, Josh, Neyland Stadium expansion, ...
Neyland Stadium expansion doesn't seem like a good idea. Now, I don't have all the detailed plans, but yeah.
Does if you're Danny White and you want a little bit of this.
Right. Maybe I'm starting to transition, no offense, Bob, into my older age view of it, but I would look for more spacious seating. I would want, wide lanes, so luxurious. That's what I would look. I worry about it being too tight of a squeeze to try to get more people in.
All right. Chuck, Florida's next coach, ...
It's going to be Lane Kiffin if he wants it, because he still has that extension on his desk at Ole Miss. And he said after the game it would be disrespectful to talk about another job. It'd be disrespectful to the players. At Florida or Ole Miss?
Refused to give an answer.
Refused to give an answer.
Speaking of people who didn't give an answer, nobody even asked Josh Heupel about this. Jimmy Himes, Josh Heupel to LSU rumors, ...
Josh Heupel to LSU rumors are understandable because I think LSU would do well to hire Josh Heupel, but I don't see him going to LSU because you've got too many people meddling, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Including the governor.
Including the governor.
Including the governor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinks he's a chef.
Okay, we'll get back to that one. Bob Hodge, Georgia, ...
Georgia is the best team in the SEC, and I watch them, and sometimes they just have to do what they need to do. But I just think top to bottom, with Texas A&M in close, I just think Georgia is the class of the SEC right now.
Okay, I'm going to do one here, and it's all those roster dollars, ... Keep hearing that from Tennessee fans. All those roster dollars we spend and we're not getting it. All those roster dollars, ... don't mean much in the SEC. At Texas Tech, you can go buy a championship in the Big 12. Congratulations. In the SEC, nobody spent more this year than Texas. Texas has 3 losses. Texas does not look very good. Their defense isn't as great as it looked. Arch Manning hasn't developed the way everyone expected. There are no guarantees because you're spending money. None. Not in this league where everybody is so well balanced. Okay, back to this very quickly on the Josh Heupel front. Also, part of the report from Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. I do not know who Chris Phillips is. Do you? Do you?
I've seen him on Twitter. I don't know anything about him.
He's reporting that industry sources say that Josh Heupel is willing to listen to leave Knoxville. I have not heard any of that locally. Doesn't mean it's not true. I've just not heard any of that locally. Has anybody here heard any of that locally?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. Just wanted to state that. He could be gone by this afternoon.
It is Sunday.
I once said that Tony Vitello to the Giants. That's insane. So you never know. But I've not heard any of that locally. Okay. When we come back, Vols haven't won at Florida since 2003. Why? What makes the Swamp so tough for Tennessee? Our VFLs who played down there. Discuss that next. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Al Wilson's hard-hitting tea. In terms of all-timers, Al Wilson belongs on the list of UT's all-time defenders. Now he's crafted a drink that's an all-timer. His hard-hitting tea is a great mix of good old Southern tea and apple wine. You'll have to taste it to believe it. Visit their website, and please drink responsibly. We tell you that every week, but Al Wilson's hard-hitting tea, good stuff, especially for your tailgate. Take a look here. Here's Tennessee's record at the Swamp since 2005. You've lost 10 in a row down there. You've seen Florida beat you with good teams. You've seen Florida beat you with bad teams. A 4-8 team beat you. A 4-7 team beat you. A 6-7 team beat you. A 5-7 team beat you. Urban Meyer beat Philip Fulmer twice. Urban Meyer beat Lane Kiffin. Will Muschamp beat Derek Dooley. Muschamp beat Butch Jones. Jim McElwain beat Butch Jones twice. Dan Mullen beat Jeremy Pruitt. Dan Mullen beat Josh Heupel. Billy Napier beat Josh Heupel. It doesn't matter. The team, the coach, you just don't win at the Swamp. So my question for my VFLs today is, what makes the Swamp such a house of horrors for Tennessee? So I kick it over to Ollie Lane, Daniel Hood, and Will Overstreet, who will point out that he won down there in 2001. So I'll toss it to them and say, none of these guys have a winning record at the Swamp. He's 1-1, 500. Will.
There you go.
What makes it tough down there?
Well, when we played down there, what made it tough is, obviously we always played a really good team. They were a national championship contender, and you played them a lot of times in early September. Now, my second time, because of 9/11, we played them later in the year. But I think it's a very different experience when you play Florida in the humidity and heat down there early in the year. I think that always made it a different kind of challenge that you had to go into. But, they were always good teams when I played. I think some of this is like the mojo we talk about with Kentucky, right? They have that with us where we have that with Kentucky. There's a belief and an expectation that no matter how bad things go, eventually it turns out right. Yeah. I don't know about for you guys, but Daniel, what did you think about why is it so difficult to play down there?
I can only chalk it up to something like as crazy as karma, because we had Nathan Peterman in one of those years, best week of practice I think I've ever seen a quarterback have at the University of Tennessee. And we get down there in the first half and we have 5 turnovers. And obviously you're not winning a football game doing that. And it's like you can't put your finger on it. You don't know what it is. It's obviously a big stadium. They're right on top of you. It's all orange and blue. But there's just something. You're going to make a mistake there that's going to cost you the game.
The one thing I will say about Florida is there's not a place where you can escape. I mean, you come to the bench and the sideline, your sideline is neck and neck with the student section. You make one mistake, that mistake's going to get highlighted throughout the rest of the game because some heckling student section and some fan over there is going to keep reminding you of what you did the play before. And I mean, there's really, sometimes at a lot of road environments, there is a place where you can kind of escape from the noise a little bit, kind of focus in on what you're doing. Not a lot of opportunities for that in Florida. And when you get in a position like that and you get the fans still in the game throughout the course of it, they don't let up. It's one of those crazy stadiums. Normally when you get to midfield, it starts to quiet down a little bit. You don't hear the fans as much. And that stadium, midfield's almost just as loud as any other end zone. And that's not structurally built in other road stadiums. And that's why this one, to me, is one of the hardest places to go play.
Yeah, I think consistently you just look at it. They've been good teams, but I think, like I said, what I think about Kentucky, I think the Florida locker room thinks about playing UT. And they go, it just doesn't matter. And I think their fan base is probably taking that same approach too. If things go against them, the fans still stay in it because they go, well, eventually we know this game, something's going to happen bad. It's going to turn around and we'll be here. So I think overall, I think it's hard to put your finger on it, but it's something there that we got to overcome. And unfortunately, John, we've been on the losing end of this way a long, long time, and until you do it, it's hard to say how you're going to predict that they're going to do it this time.
And I'll just applaud Will there because whether he knew it or not, that's the second reference to meatballs today. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Look it up, Bill Murray. Great movie. When we come back, will they or won't they? Let's make our predictions. If we go inside for some prop bet time to questions for Tennessee, Florida. And we've still got the Cavaliers line, and we've still got our predictions. We also have a new leader in our pick segment. All that to come here on the Sports Source. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by my friends at Safety Systems. I tell you about them every week, and I have for years because I believe in them. They've done work for me over 2 decades, and whatever I've asked them to do, they've nailed it. And they'll do the same for you. You see their signs in yards all over East Tennessee from protecting homes. You see their signs on business windows and business doors all over East Tennessee protecting businesses. Whether you have a home you want to protect or a business you need to protect, VFL JJ Surlis and the team at Safety Systems will take good care of you. Give them a call this week. Okay, this is our Will They or Won't They segment. We got 4 quick questions, kind of our way of preparing for the Tennessee-Florida game. Our VFLs are all gathered and ready. They look like a gospel quartet. Here we go. The Vols are averaging 43.4 points per game this year, but Tennessee hasn't scored more than 27 points at Florida since Will Overstreet's 2001 team scored 34 down there. Will the Vols get to at least 28 points next Saturday? 2 no's, 2 yeses. Jimmy, who should I go to ask for their opinion?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Florida's defense is really good. Joey Aguilar's throwing interceptions lately, so I think Joey's going to throw some interceptions to keep the total under.
Okay. Ollie, I'll let you rebut.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to go down and highlight what our offense is capable of doing. Look, you got a second bye week with this New Mexico State game. You got a lot of guys on that team that have something to prove to finish the season off the right way. I think they're going to come out with the right motivation to go out there and put some points up.
All right, good enough. Thanks, guys. Next, well, Chuck, I'll ask you. Will Tennessee get 28?
I tell you what, I would take the under with Tennessee on the road against that pretty good defense.
Okay. They're pretty good when they want to be.
Yes.
And for some reason, when they don't want to be, they let
Yes.
Kentucky light them up. All right. Florida has only 8 offensive plays all year that have gone for 30 or more yards, and that was going into last night. Only 8 or more, only 8 all year going into last night. Now, they had one against Ole Miss. Tennessee, that's the worst in the SEC by 5, by the way. So they do not have a big play offense. However, Tennessee, this is interesting, has only given up 13 such plays all year. That's 5th best in the SEC.
Defense improving.
There you go. I would have thought they'd given up more big plays. Will the Gators get at least 2 plays of 30 or more yards against Tennessee on Saturday? 2 yeses, 2 no's. We got a split panel back and forth. This time I'll let Will tell me why they will give up 2 30-yard plays to Florida.
Have you seen how quarterbacks perform against us? I just, on a away game and a road game, I mean, it's
Sterling White
take
and
the odds there.
I just think our defense is going to step all the way up this week, and I think it's going to be the best game we played all year.
Okay. All right. Josh, will they get 2 plays of 30 or more yards against the Vols?
No, I think they'll hit one and miss on one, Lagway style.
All right. Speaking of Lagway, DJ Lagway has thrown 13 interceptions on the season. Joey Aguilar has thrown 10 interceptions, but he'll be on the road this week. Will Aguilar throw more interceptions than Lagway in the swamp on Saturday? No. And we got a maybe from Will. Explain. Got a way down?
I think I was going to say they're going to tie.
Okay.
One throws 2, the other's going to throw 2. Like I think it's just going to be an interception do-off.
All right, I'm going to save time. Daniel said he will, but you already talked about him throwing picks in that last question. So, Jimmy, does Aguilar throw more interceptions than Lagway next Saturday?
No.
Okay. And I did leave it for the push. I didn't think of that, so you could do push. All right. Over the Vols' first 4 games, they averaged, over the Vols' first 4 games, they averaged 20 points in the first quarter. Over the last 6 games, they've averaged 10 points in the first quarter. Will Tennessee score at least 11 points in the first quarter on Saturday night? Bunch of yeses and, well, back to Rain Cloud. He says no. Is that just you just don't believe the Florida mojo?
I have watched this Florida game and us going to play at Florida. I see a lot of bad. I've not seen a lot of good. So when I come out of this, I just say, let me take past history and say it probably repeats itself.
Okay, let me ask Josh, do the Vols have 11 points at the end of the first quarter?
I will listen to Will's advice. I will say no.
Jimmy,
No.
Chuck.
No, they'll have at least 10 or 12.
Nice.
Yes.
They will have 11?
Yes, I think they'll get off to a good start.
Well, Team Sunshine over here ends it on a positive. All right. When we come back, we have a new leader in our Beat the House segment. Chuck Cavaleras raked in all kinds of money. You won't believe how he's celebrating. And we're going to do our picks next. Come on back on the Sports Source. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Hey, folks, you got one more day. All right, the super 45th anniversary sale at Games and Things ends tomorrow. Get down to Games and Things, 20 to 50% off everything in their store. You talk about holiday shopping, this is the place to do it. Big, small. Home theater seats, big. Darts for your dart set, small. Card sets, small. Pool tables, big. They got it all. Do your holiday shopping. You got one more day. Get down there Monday. Games and Things, because life should be fun. All right, let's take a look at the Beat the House standings. Woo! Look at all that bloody red. Awful week, everybody. And a good job picking the line there. Now, you're supposed to, for our purposes, you're supposed to split the panel. So that was bad. However, it was real close. It came, I mean, there was a late score there. Or the last New Mexico State score cost Tennessee and all of us who went with Tennessee. And what that meant is we've got a new leader. Mike Stoll moves to the top. He's the only guy on the board that took New Mexico State. He moves to the top, so Bob Hodge is out of the top slot. And it also means that Chuck made $1,300, if I had that up correct. The casino has never brought in cash like that. And just take a look at how he celebrated. Look at that, a giant martini glass filled with cash as he threw it up in the air and enjoyed himself. Again, at some point after the season, I'll do all the AI outtakes because it tends to make you look like Steve Bannon. Okay, Chuck, let me get your prediction, Tennessee, Florida, or your line, not your prediction, your line for Tennessee, Florida.
Okay, John, I mean, it's just going back to the swamp. We've had people like Will say never pick Tennessee until they actually, after they go down there and win. I look at this game, I'm looking at Florida's offensive line because that's a veteran group. It is a really good offensive line. If they get the running game going, it sets up the play action. DJ Lagway looks a lot better. That's a big key for me. Another thing is some of the injuries for Tennessee. That was kind of disturbing on that one little stretch there. I'm also looking at this game as a what if. What if Tennessee loses, then they have Vanderbilt next and looking at 7-5. If Florida loses, they got Florida State next, and they're looking at 3-9. Ooh, I'm going to do the line at 2.5. I saw it open at 5.5.
But who you taking? 2.5.
I'm taking 2.5.
It's Florida minus 2.5.
Oh, the line is Florida minus 2.5.
Yeah, there you go. So Vols plus 2.5.
Vols plus 2.5.
Yes, and the line you saw was Tennessee.
Tennessee opened as a 5.5 point favorite.
And then you're going completely in the other direction.
Right, and it actually dropped to, right now it's 3.5.
Okay. So it's minus 3.5 in reality for the Vols right now, but ours, to split the panel, is plus 2.5. Okay, so Mike Stoll, Bob Hodge has been ducking this. He hasn't been here for the first pick. Whoever's first has to go first. So Mike Stoll went ahead. I knew the pick. I knew what it was going to be. I asked him to send it in. He said, to make sure you would know this, I don't run and hide. He said, I will give my answer first as the leader because I ain't scared. So Mike Stoll is, and then I forgot to write down what he's doing. So that was kind of stupid. Here we go. What did he say? Oh, 100 on Florida. So Stoll takes the Gators with 100. Bob took the Gators with 200. I asked him beforehand. Now, the other guys haven't seen this. Jimmy, what are you doing?
I was committed to not picking Tennessee again, but I'll take Tennessee 100.
All right, 100 UT. Daniel.
Got to try to make up some ground, so I got to go 200 on the Vols. 200. I don't want to do.
Tennessee. Josh Ward.
I also have ground to make up. What could go wrong here? 200 on Tennessee.
200 Tennessee. I have ground to make up, but I'm so far behind it doesn't matter. So I've made a pact. I'm not taking Tennessee against Florida down there until I see it. I'll put 100 on the Gators. Marlon, I will get later. Ollie?
Man, I'm close to the edge of not having anything left, so I'm just going to ride with the Vols. I'm going to put 100 on the Vols.
Okay, 100 on the Vols. Sterling, you got 100 left
I'm
too.
going all in Tennessee, baby. Don't stop right now. All in, baby. Let's
Which
go.
means 100. Will, you're already, you're already out.
I'm out, but I'd mortgage my house and put it on Florida.
Holy smokes. Yeah, I at least thought about it for a second. Do I want to back out of my pact? You feel pretty strongly that
Absolutely.
this ain't the year.
This ain't the year. They got a running game that I just worried watching that guy that running back against Ole Miss last night coming off the edge. And then I say, how are our safeties going to come up and hit that guy? That's a bad fit for us.
Cole Kubelik a couple of weeks ago, I think it was the Tennessee-Kentucky game, he said Tennessee's toughest game the rest of the way will be Florida because of the Florida blocking scheme against Tennessee's defensive line. Okay, watch us next Saturday, 11 a.m. right back here for the Saturday kickoff. Catch us all week on the Sports Source Digital Network. We're doing the final word. That goes up Tuesday. We've got action goes up tomorrow. And we'll see you right back here next Sunday for a Florida postgame Vandy preview. See you next week.